Welcome back to another update of AI Assist. So last week I told you about this dilemma that I was having between competing products. I tried to figure out what the difference is. That's coming along greatly for code quality and SAST. And for intelligent code security, it seems to be that it's at this point basically the same, but that team will start probably not for the next 6 to 12 months. And AI Assist can start building a foundation for that team. There was also an engineering sync with Sid, where I asked the question, should it be in the IDE or on GitLab.com? Answer was yes, it should be on both, to reduce cycle time, which is great. That's also something that I was thinking about, and I wanted to further explore that. So I wanted to start with Docker files because, well, Docker containers are super popular. Almost every project is using it. And it's an isolated environment, so it's perfect for detecting security vulnerabilities. So Hardelint is a super popular linter for Dockerfile. However, I looked at what rules it has, and very little of them are focused on security. I came up with 2 rules already, like copying sensitive files and exposing API, exposing sensitive information via the build arguments, so I figured I'll just add those as rules to Hardelint. Hardelint is Haskell based. I'm not familiar with Haskell. It was a very steep learning curve, and it was limiting me for like 2 days. I got 95% done, but it just doesn't pass the tests. So I figured this is going to be something that's going to keep haunting me, so I need something that's either Python or Ruby based. So I looked for existing parsers. There were 2. One is from Red Hat. It was incomplete, but Python based. And the other is a Python wrapper for the Docker's own parser. But that format didn't seem to be what I'm looking for, because I want it to be a data-driven format, so that we can actually use that data for analysis and training machine learning models. So I started building my own parser, which surprisingly was not that much work. It was only a day's worth of development. And I'm now going to build an analyzer on top of that, so we can actually start to I can start implementing rules as for linter based suggestions at first, and start parsing a bunch of Docker files to create a data set. So the data set can be used for analysis and learning how we can improve Docker files. Ideally, by bringing by creating this linter, we should be able to scan a Docker file before we actually build an image. So we prevent resources being put into building the Docker image, then scanning the consequent image, while we could have already detected the issues while it was just a pure plain instruction in the Docker file. That would also mean we can scan before committing, scan before building in the CI. Hopefully we can also alongside that implement scan images before we push it to the registry, prevent leaking credentials, and provide merge requests to optimize them. We'll now give a quick demo of the parser. So here's a Docker file that has all the possible instructions, and if we just run the parser, then the output is that we get a JSON with a note per instruction. In this case, the first one starts at line number 1. It's a from instruction, and the details are that the image is Python and the version is 3.7.8. And this works for all of them, including comments, which is technically not an instruction, but I made it an instruction. So we can also parse those for either actual comments or commented out code. It also works for multi-line, like this one was on multiple lines, and it just parses that fine as well. That's it. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, let me know. Thank you.